the public school system of Congo. This is par for the course. What do we hear from politicians and school boards from any city around the country when they point out that young people's scores, their reading, writing, and math scores are abysmal? What do we hear? That there's a two-tiered school system, one for whites and one for blacks, and the black one doesn't get the resources that the white school systems get. This is an outright lie. So much money has been pumped into school systems around the country. The price per student in black communities is through the roof because it's all they have. They have to keep pumping money into it because if they don't think it's money, then they have to look elsewhere. And then we get into that horrifically awkward conversation we need to have again. Look, I don't know. All I'm saying is they inject so much money into these schools, and year after year, you see less and less proficiency in math and reading and writing. So is it the money or is it something else? I know they stopped disciplining kids, actually all kids, because once again, everyone has to pay the price. I guess it works the other way around too. When they determined that too many young students were being given detention or suspension, they had to stop giving out detention or suspension to everybody because the system has to be. If there's an inordinate amount of people getting detention than white kids, it can't possibly be that white kids are better behaved and are doing what they're supposed to be doing in school. Can't be that. And deal with that aspect of it. But why would we deal with that aspect? That's not happening. It must be a system. So you stop with any discipline. Now, they can act however they want. They could hit teachers. We've seen that. Hit each other. Run around the classroom while the teacher's trying to do their job. Yeah. And then when they're asked why is the proficiency level in these predominantly black schools so low, they go, well, we're just not getting the money. We need the resources that the white schools are getting. And they're getting more. So where is that money going? Where are these resources going? Well, you know, it is the modern age. We are in the computer age. I don't know what these kids are doing with these confounded infernal machines, but computing is a very important aspect of school these days. And it takes money to buy computers, laptops, tablets. It takes money, but the money is there. The money is there, especially in a city like Congo. And there you have it. Public schools in Chicago reveal that 77,505 electronic devices were stolen or lost, with 36 schools reporting every single device was missing during the 21 to 22 school year, worth an estimated $23 million. There's where your money is going. That's where your money for the poor kids that aren't getting the resources that the white schools are getting. You hand out these electronic devices and they are immediately sold, stolen, sold, destroyed, whatever, not being used in the way they are supposed to be used. 77,500 devices, $23 million flushed down the and I'm sure that money went to and switches and violence and then when they're asked about it, they go, well, we need more money. These kids are underprivileged. That's why they're stealing the equipment we buy them with the money that we get for education. So we need more money for education to educate them to not steal the stuff we pay for with the money we get for education. Does that make sense? Of course it doesn't. It makes no sense. But it's happening. And it will continue to happen. Because God forbid anyone point out who is stealing 77,500 electronic devices, what they're doing with it. God forbid anyone asks that question. We need more money. Unbelievable. What about before they even get to school? What about the bus ride to school? What about the pleasant bus ride? I recall as a child leaving the house with your little lunch bag and going to the bus stop. And you'd get to have a little conference with your friends, your neighbor friends that lived around you that had the same bus stop. And occasionally you were almost late. You almost missed the bus. One of the worst things that could happen as a kid. Walking back to the house, opening that door. Mom, I missed the bus. Oh, all right, give me a minute. And then mom has to drive you to school. So you wanted to make sure you didn't miss the bus. And then you're talking with your friends, and then you hear, blah, blah, blah. Here comes the bus. And then there was a smiling face of the bus driver greeting you. And you'd sit with your little group of friends, the rowdies in the back, the in the front, and a smorgasbord of kids in the middle.
I saw this video recently of this, and she had like missing teeth, and she had short hair, which I don't have a problem with a woman about short hair, but in their culture, it means I don't have my shit together because I didn't put a wig on today.
Where's your wig? You fucking.
I don't make the rules, but that's their rule. You're a broke ass if you're not wearing some plastic strands of hair. And she's mad because the cops have said you can't park here. It's a handicap parking space, and she's like, "Oh, she has her kid. I know what this is about. Have you seen this one? This is about because I'm this." And her mother and her mother's friend are on the cop side. Just they're going, "Calm down. You being too much right now." Yeah, they know what's going
to happen.
And she's like, "Dad, I'll go to jail right now." And they go, no, you don't want to go to jail. They'll take your kids away. It's really bad. Please stop. And she won't shut up. And then she gets arrested, and she's in the car, and she's like, "I just want to go home. Can I please go home? I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm so sorry." And I feel like that's the way the left is with all these calls for violence. Like if someone flicked them on the nose, they go like, "Ow. Okay, wait, I was just kidding. Calm down."
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Why do they? Because I've seen so many of those videos where they're sorry, they're apologizing, they're begging to be let out, and minutes before that, the cops going, "You will be arrested," and they go, "I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. Get away from me." And they do seem to care when they're trying to put their arms behind their back. Then all of a sudden they care. And once they're in the car, they're crying and, "Oh, please, what can I do?"
I don't get it. And you live in the hood. Surely you get punched and stuff. I understand the Amish. I understand raging homes. I understand people who completely cover their faces with tattoos. It's hard to understand, but I get it. But the whole, like, what you going to do? You're under arrest. Wait, what? That's what you signed up for. And I warned you 100 times.
Yeah, the warnings are amazing too. Like they give them so much latitude. They give them so many chances to not get arrested. The cop doesn't want to arrest.
No.
It's a pain in the ass. and they don't want, they just want to get it over with. Well, you got a suspended license. All right. You can't drive the car, this, that, make an arrangement with it. They don't want to arrest these. They force them to.
Maybe it's that in the hood, like in the projects with their siblings, and they say, you can't play my PlayStation. No, I got the controls. It's my game, my game. Well, you better watch it. I'm going to kick you. No, you ain't going to do shit.
Right.
I'm going to play my game and you go fuck off. And maybe that works with your siblings, but this is law enforcement. It's different here.
Yeah, yeah. I often wonder what they're thinking when they say certain things. Like, I'm going to work. I'm on my way to work, and
Literally.
I can't stop for this. I got to get to work. And do they have this image of the cop going, oh, work. Okay, look, we're sorry. We held you up. You're free to go. I didn't know you were going to work. Do they imagine that scenario actually playing out?
I mean, we've tried similar things, like when you're trying to get on a flight and it's overbooked, and you say things like, I have to go to a funeral. Or when I was much younger, I would say I have a job interview, like anyone gives a shit. So maybe that, but it's just so wildly naive to think that you can alter the course of anything. Like the wheels have been set. The second you get pulled over, the wheels are set in motion. So sit back and enjoy the ride.
Right. A lot of it is, it's up to you how this goes, especially if you do have all of your proper, you'll be fine. You might get a ticket. You might not, but whatever happens, it's going to be because of your actions. You were speeding. You went through the stop sign, whatever it was, those are your actions. Now, if you don't have a license, that's your fault too. It can go, like the cop says, this could go one of two ways. I see it all the time. Yeah. One of two ways. And they always seem to want it to go the bad way.
Okay. It's going the bad way. Here we are.
Dragging it. We will drag you out of this car. And do they think the cops are bluffing at any point? We will break the window. We will drag you out of this car and put you under arrest. Yeah, I'm not being arrested. No, I'm not. You're under arrest. No, I'm not. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm not under arrest.
Exactly. They always use the word literally. I'm literally just coming from work.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm literally just coming from work. I'm a whole nurse. You're a whole nurse? But half of you was a... They come up with, they used to have such cool sayings and slang. Now it's just, I'm a whole waiter. You're a whole.
I think the coolness of this, the brand, it died. It did. It was a 55-year run from the death of Martin Luther King with big afros and Panthers and funk.
Right.
And there was disco, and then there was rap, and there was big pimping and kids dressing up as a pimp for Halloween. Yo, I'm a pimp, man. I'm a pimp.
Some of the sayings that took off in with the whole world, 24/7. 24/7's like a thing that you don't remember. That was
probably illegal now.
Yeah, that was a thing. Oh yeah, he does that 24/7. Oh, 24 hours, 7 days a week. That's a good one. I think we'll adopt that as white people.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's a good one. English now it's fun. Like, what? Finna? I'm finna go to the store? I'm not using finna.
Yeah. Well, now you have a lot of just going, I want out. They don't represent me. I'm normal. I'm married. I have a job. I don't want anything to do with these who can't read.
I'm seeing a guys, especially, that are just disavowing the whole shambles that the community is in. Like they play a clip of some guy doing something or something, and then they pop on and go, "Yeah, this has to stop. This can't go on." But it seems like the leadership, the politicians or the community organizers or whatever it is, they're not ready to make that change yet and really start speaking out as to how the community has become, or at least the perception of the entire community. But I see a lot of people that are just as fed up with this as Whitey is.
Well, think of cops. Like cops are a normal amount of, they don't hate themselves. They don't hate their. He seems like a good guy. He raised my wife right, but these they're just like learn to read. You.
Yeah. They know and they know more than anyone how detrimental it is to them. You know,
right.
The black community over the course of history has always been collective, a united front. You know, it's the entire my people, the community, just calling it the community.
Right.
That works both ways. If you're fighting for a right to do something and you're marching as the community, we look at you and the world looks at you like, wow, they're united in this. They want change. They're voicing their opinion on this. But it also works when 99% of the crimes happening are people. They're plexiglassing shampoo. The bodega owners who did interviews about getting shot get shot.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He says, I'm scared for my life.
It's a sad state of affairs. Then they want to be individuals. When shit like that happens, they want to be individuals. No. You are the ones that made yourself this collective. And if enough people in your community are up for you, that's not on me. That's not on the white people. That's not on society. That's on you guys now. You got to unite and say, knock this off.